Okay, this is D13-481-723-C. Mr. Kelleher, I have a quick question before you get going. Ma'am, you said that you would propose Dad have the standard every other weekend. This court's not aware of a standard. So can you please explain what you think would be appropriate parenting time between the children and Dad?
As John and I had discussed, like every other weekend plan, and then like the out of state schedule. John, could you help me to explain that schedule that we discussed?
If it would help, we're fine to just do the standard out of state plan that the court has. We've used it in department after department. That's what we.
On a holiday schedule, I don't know that I have. It includes a relocation schedule. So, okay, in any event, all right. And when you're talking about every other weekend, what do you mean by that? When would it start and end?
Like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or even like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You could do every other week like that.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Keller.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I don't have anything further.
Oh, all right. You ready?
Yeah, just so you know, Your Honor, I'm going to go ahead and do my direct and I guess my cross at the same time. I've written down some questions as to her prior testimony, but I was hoping after Heather testifies today, if I might be okay in letting Shelley is here today. She was going to help lay foundation for some text messages, but we've admitted everything in today by stipulation between counsel. And the only other reason she would be here would be to impeach if necessary. And if Heather, if our testimony goes forward smoothly, I wanted to see if I could just let her go and finish up with Cole because she can go pick up the kids from their camp, if that's all right.
Do you have any objection?
I'm sorry, this is my last witness, so I wasn't planning on calling her on my case in chief. So she's
It's up
fine
to you.
to leave.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we're all on board so nobody is surprised. Okay, Heather, we've talked a great deal about this. We have some information about your knowledge of when Cole accepted the position. Can you tell the court about that?
But when Cole
took the position in Florida, how did you find out about it?
What position?
The position at the or when he moved to Florida to take the position. How did you find out Cole was going to be moving to Florida?
He told me.
He told you directly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Because prior we'd heard that you didn't hear it from him, but you in fact did hear it straight from Cole, correct?
Yes.
Were you excited about the position for him?
I don't know about the word excited. Shelley told me that he was going to interview because it was his turn. It was his schedule, I guess would be the better word, to have the boys over the holiday. And so we had some back and forth. And they wanted to go to Florida over the holidays, and they were supposed to have the boys over the holidays, and so Shelley was pleading with me to allow them to go to Florida and allow him to interview for this position at Brickell Motors. And that explains the text message. Please don't tell him that I'm texting you about this interview. So.
Did you have multiple conversations with Shelley about your desire to move to Florida?
I don't know how many.
Did you have any conversations with Shelley
Yes.
about your desire to move to Florida? And when did those occur?
I don't have the exact dates.
Did one of those conversations occur at your son's birthday party?
Oh, I can talk about the birthday party if you like.
Sure. what kind of conversations did you have with Shelley concerning your desire to move to Florida?
I didn't talk to her about my desire to move to Florida at the
Did
birthday
you talk about
party.
Florida in general, or
Florida, she talked about Florida, yes.
did you say that you would also like to move to Florida?
I don't recall talking about moving to Florida at the birthday party.
Did you ever show or represent to either Shelley or Cole that you supported Cole's move to Florida?
Supported?
Yes, supported the move to Florida.
Yes.
Okay. So you were supportive of the move to Florida. Did you ever tell Cole you did not want him to move to Florida?
No.
Can I have you turn to Exhibit Q?
Is that a different, this one? Your binder?
Yes, in my binder.
Okay.
Okay, and then if you can just go to the first bait stamp 629, it's a text message.
Yep.
Do you remember sending that text correspondence?
Yep.
Can you just start from the middle section and let me know who that is? I know we have arrows there, but you will remember what you typed, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so in the black text box, who was that?
Shelley.
Okay, and what did Shelley say?
Yes, I told Cole I'm ready to ship everything RT now. I just home this trip, make him want to move. UGHHH. Even if we have to move into my home there, I don't care. I'm just ready to go.
And what did you respond to her? Your first two words back to her.
Me too.
Did you mean me too, that you were ready to go?
Yes. I will never deny the fact that I had a desire to go to Florida if the right opportunity arose.
Right, and you made that desire known multiple times to Shelley, correct?
I can't tell you if it was multiple times.
About how many times did you let her know that?
I didn't talk to Shelley on a regular basis.
Only through text message?
I didn't talk to Shelley on a regular basis.
Okay, but just these random text messages that are here?
I talked to Shelley a little bit in a few months, but not on a regular basis.
Did you talk to Shelley when you stayed at in her house? When you visited Cole and Shelley in Florida?
Yes.
Okay. And did you send this next text message, date stamp 631? Do you remember sending this text message?
Yep. Yes.
Just out of curiosity, at the very beginning paragraph, can you read that to the court?
There is no perfect moment, no time when you will know.
On bait stamp 631, the first paragraph sent.
I just reminded Cole about Christmas Eve. You guys should pop in. Huge spread. We'll have tons of food.
And who sent that?
I did.
Okay. And so, before you stated that you always had harsh interactions with Cole.
I did
is
not
that
state
correct?
that.
Okay, because at this point in time, you're actually inviting them over for Christmas. Is that not right?
Yes.
Okay, so at this point, were you friendly with Cole and Shelley?
Yes.
Okay. And so then what does Shelley say back to you?
OMG, I totally forgot about Christmas. Okay, thanks.
And then what's the next photo imagery of?
A excerpt from a book.
And can you read the first paragraph of that excerpt? Is that something you sent Shelley?
Yes.
So did you take a picture of that and took the time to send it to Shelley?
Yes.
And what does it say?
There is no perfect moment, no time when you will know enough to guarantee you will get what you want, no time when you will be 100% sure that you're ready to have a child, fall in love, take a job, move across country, build a business, show your work, stand in your truth, pursue your dream. Still, at some point, imperfectly informed with butterflies in your belly, you'll still need to act. To own your unknown, to step into Joseph Campbell's abyss and therein discover your treasure.
Okay. So do you normally send inspirational text messages to people you don't really converse with frequently?
I'm a friendly person. I mean, I try to get along with everyone. So,
So what was the
I
purpose of
may.
sending her a text message about moving across the country?
because this was December 22nd, and they were moving the next week.
So you were trying to be supportive of the move?
Yes.
And then on the next page, text, date stamp 632. Do you remember sending this text correspondence to Shelley?
I'm sorry, I just want to make sure, mine has handwriting on it.
Yeah.
That's a different,
Mine has handwriting too.
Yes, they're all the same. They were.
oh, well, I wouldn't have, okay. Well, then we'd object to that, Your Honor, because I don't know whose handwriting that is. That's not what we had originally in discovery.
These were all Bates stamped, Your Honor, and submitted.
Okay. Do you have one that doesn't have handwriting on it?
These were the copies that I was provided, and I believe they had been originally put into the opposition.
And hers have handwriting too, right? Just explaining who's texting hers that she submitted to us that we just looked at.
We can do them, we just disregard the handwriting. I mean, do
Right.
you have any objection to disregarding the handwriting?
I don't have any objection to disregarding the handwriting. I think they were just
Disregard the handwriting.
We've already been over this one. I'm sure they all kind of look the same. Okay, and this one here, again, on December 29th, you have some correspondence with Shelley. And can you start from the Thursday, December 29th, 4:25 p.m. text?
Hey, can you give me a call? I just talked to him. He's taking it all good. Florida 2017.
And the use of a lot of emojis, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
And then, what does Shelley say?
Yay, I'm so excited. I can't wait to move home. Cole is coming home on Monday. I changed his flight.
The next text message is Bates stamp 633. Heather, did you have a boyfriend named Jim that lived in Florida?
I had a yes, yeah.
And how did you meet him?
I met Jim in Mexico through mutual friends.
Okay. And so when Cole moved out to Florida, were you already dating Jim?
Yes.
Okay. And how long had you been dating him?
So we were maybe since middle August of 2015 or so.
Okay, so you've
But
been with him for a while, or was it
Yeah.
off and on?
yeah,
Okay. Did you send this text message to Shelley?
yes.
Okay, and can you read that to the court?
Pearl, what are we going to do? I've been talking to Jim, and as much as he wants to figure this out with all of us, he's just not ready to move his business. Maybe in 3 to 5 years, but not now. He has such huge accounts there, especially Seminole County, which is even more north of where he lives now. Would you be totally against the idea of being in the Winter Park area just to get us there? The schools are really great there. I know it's not ideal for you and your mom and your properties, but at least you could do longer or 4-day weeks or have her come visit, etc. with the goal of getting back south. Trust me, I want to be in paradise too. I just know that we all are going to have to give a little to get there, and as long as we get to Florida, we can find ways and make money to get to Fort Lauderdale, right? Maybe. I know it's a lot to ask and think about. I just hate it here as much as you. And then it's cut off, so.
So you used the tense we, like we will all, once we all get there, correct?
Again, I was looking for ways to get to Florida as well, but I was not going to compromise not having secure employment.
Okay.
We're
But at
going
this
there.
point in time, you would have been open to even moving the children's school.
Not before securing employment
But here it says the schools are really great there, correct?
in Winter Park.
So you would have been okay to move the children's school at that time if you had found employment.
Yes.
Okay. And when you were interested in the position in Tampa the prior year, you were okay with putting the children in public school at that time?
Yes. I also have an email.
I want you to go to base stamp 634.
Okay.
Do you recognize this text message?
Yes.
Okay. And can you read that to the court?
The one from Shelley or
Yes.
from me?
The very top one.
So the top one from Shelley says, "Girl, I tried talking to Cole about it. He said, no way," his exact words. "Why don't we move to Fort Lauderdale? She give me the kids and she can get them on weekends and every holiday until we figure this out. There's no way I'm moving to Orlando and being away from my kids." He wouldn't be away from them, though, if we were all in Orlando, and it wouldn't be forever, just a few years, or even a year or two just to get us there initially. Shit, Orlando isn't ideal, but I'll take it over Las Vegas, wouldn't you? I said that. He said, "I can't believe you're even thinking about this, Shelley." He Googled the temperature and said, "It's cold as hell there. Also, no way. I'm still trying to work on him."
And then if you could continue forward with the next base stamp 635.
Well, this is incomplete, so I don't know where it started or this is.
So which number?
Bait stamp 635.
So there's a,
It kind of is incomplete.
yeah. So
Are you not sure you sent this?
yeah.
Well, I'll read the first part, if that's okay for the court. It was 85 there today. I'm telling you, girl, we can do this. It won't be ideal, but we will get to Florida. I want to be close to Fort Lauderdale eventually, too. I promise you that, but the schools are good in Winter Park area, and his business does really well there. He can't just pick up and move it right now. There are pockets that are really nice, there's a beach that's 45 minutes away. It's hot there, not cold at all, 87 to 85 last few weeks. Does that remind you of anything you might have sent?
Possibly, yeah.
And
Yes.
who were you talking about when it said he does really well there?
Jim.
You were talking about Jim?
Yes.
So, were you saying that you could not move to southern Florida because Jim's work was in Orlando?
No.
Was in the Winter Park area? Where did Jim work?
Jim is in the Winter Park area.
Okay, so you wouldn't be able to go with the boys down by Shelley and Cole because you would be with Jim?
I wouldn't just look for opportunities just in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, I wouldn't just limit myself to just Fort Lauderdale.
So were you trying to see if maybe Cole and Shelley would come up to Winter Park and stay up there with you and the boys?
If I could secure employment there.
If you could, okay. And so, it looks like Shelley again, but I don't know. Could you read the text message into black and let me know if you think that might be Shelley?
I'm tried talking to him. He gets annoyed when I talk to him about Orlando. I just went back and he told me to tell you to give him the kids and you can get them on the weekends and on holidays. LOL, because he's dead set on South Florida.
So, could you say this? Do you know when these text messages were being sent?
I don't know, the dates are conveniently left off.
Did you ever go visit Jim in the Winter Park area?
I was there when I, in April.
In
Yes.
April.
Yeah.
So do you think perhaps...
And in May.
Okay, so in April and May.
Yes.
Okay.
Of 2017.
So I want you to go to exhibit, I think it's P. These are some email, this is some email correspondence. I want to start with the email that Cole sent to you regarding what he considers to be the agreement and you consider to be an offer. I guess it's a contract issue. And it's date stamp 599. Do you remember receiving this email from Cole?
Vaguely.
And then, didn't you say that when you received it, you just didn't even answer it?
Yep.
You just ignored it.
I don't know, because he sent me a few of them, so I don't know if it was this one that I didn't reply to, but I wouldn't even consider these. I really like the word wish list. That,
Wish list.
yeah.
Okay. So, but you never sent anything back to Cole and said, I completely don't support this wish list. You just didn't respond?
Yeah, I wouldn't agree to any of his terms because they are ridiculous, and I wouldn't agree to any of this. I wouldn't change anything on our decree because I did everything properly all the time through the courts.
Okay. So, what did he state here to you? Can you read this email that was sent by Cole and the date it was sent?
Sunday, January 22nd, 2017 at 5:07 p.m. Moving letter from Cole. I, Heather Schoenwald, give permission to Cole Cloninger to move out of state for work to Fort Lauderdale/Miami area starting February 1st. He will taking a job for Brickell Motors in Miami and leaving initially in Margate, Florida. Cole has agreed to pay me $2,065 a month for the first year. After February 2018, Cole's support will be $1,840 a month. Cole will also pay for our two sons, Cole Christopher Cloninger and Drew Brandon Cloninger. Cole Cloninger will also pay for our son's insurance for the first 90 days through my Colonial Life work insurance. That amount for the first 90 days is blank. I understand there is no timetable on Cole Cloninger's return to Las Vegas, as I will be trying my best to move to Fort Lauderdale/Miami, Florida area once the boys are out of school for the 2016 year. Cole Cloninger and I will continue to have joint custody during this time while he is away. I, Heather Schoenwald, agree to fly down to Florida with our sons at least once a month for 3 days. Example, depart Thursday evening from Las Vegas to Fort Lauderdale, stay in Florida with Cole Cloninger Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, departing back to Las Vegas Sunday night, or any school holiday or break. I, Heather Schoenwald, will also fly down with the boys for a minimum of 1 week for spring break. If I, Heather Schoenwald, am still living in Las Vegas during the boys' summer break, I will agree to fly down with boys and allow them to stay a minimum of 3 weeks. Cole Cloninger and I will continue to work towards getting our boys in the same city in Florida, and will talk further after the boys get out of school. Warm regards, Cole Cloninger.
Thank you. So, after Cole did send this to you, did he start paying you more in child support?
No.
He did not.
Nope.
He only paid you $1,840.
Yes, and he never paid me $1,840 on the 15th of the month, as he is supposed to be doing. He would pay me in incremental chunks whenever he wanted to, and if he did pay anything over $1,840 per month, it would be for other expenses incurred that month.
So that's why you accepted any overpayment of $1,840.
Yes.
And what did you list out what those expenses were, or did you just say those are for other expenses?
I would tell him what those expenses would be for, and that's what he would deposit the money for,
Okay.
such as costume fees,
That's okay. Thank you.
chapel shoes.
I was
Things
going
like
to have
that.
you look at date stamp 598. Right before that, another email correspondence sent to your attention February 25th. Can you read the subject line to the court?
Planning ahead.
And can you read the letter to the court?
I'm going to object, Your Honor. Why would you have to read the whole letter to the court when it's in evidence?
It's kind of in here, so. Are there parts of it you want to read rather than the whole thing?
This is actually...
She didn't write it. Right, it's directed to her. She didn't write it. I've already agreed to let it be in evidence.
My client just had to sit here and read some very horrible text messages to terrorize him practically on the stand. I'm asking her to read one letter that was very important to this matter.
Well, respectfully, Ron, there's a difference. One is the stuff that he wrote and impeaching him about things he said weren't true, and this is having her read something that he wrote.
Because
Right?
she plainly receives it, and she's stating that she doesn't do anything when her son's father attempts to communicate very important matters with her. She simply ignores them, Your Honor.
Okay, how about for a second if I just take a minute and I'll read it?
Okay,
because
that
then
would
it's
be great.
quicker.
May I have some water?
Oh, sure.
I have some.
read it.
So Heather, based on this type of correspondence, did you even read it if Cole sends you a letter of this type of nature?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did you understand that he very much did not want to live apart from his boys?
I understand that that's what he wrote, yes.
And do you think that it wasn't a genuine letter?
No.
Do you think he does want to spend time apart from his boys?
I think that this is very selfish.
And why do you think that letter is selfish?
Because it is very accommodating to Cole.
So did you correspond or discuss that with Cole once he sent it? Or
Yes, of course.
but the other letter you said you never even responded to, but this one you did?
Yes, we discussed Florida extensively and all of the options.
And what were those discussions?
We would communicate. We would talk about it.
What were the options that you mentioned?
If I could secure employment through a lateral move within my company. Colonial has 3 territory offices in the state of Florida.
Is it true that you represented to Shelley that you could move in with Jim and not have to work if you moved to Florida?
I would never consider not working. I've always worked my entire life, so I would never move and be dependent on a man. I've always asserted that I would never consider moving unless I had secure employment in place, health insurance, and stabilize my immigration status.
Okay. Did Jim ever ask you to move in with him?
No, he did not.
Did you know that Cole was having a hard time earning a living at the end of calendar year 2016 here in Las Vegas?
I'm going to object, Your Honor. Assumes facts not in evidence, causes speculation, lacks foundation.
Sustained.
Do you know why Cole left his position at Henderson Hyundai?
He claims that his salary was reduced.
Did Cole ever mention that he was struggling financially?
He claims that he was struggling financially, but his income tax returns don't show that.
But what?
His income tax returns don't really show that.
So, do you remember when he quit Henderson Hyundai?
In the summer of 2015, July, I believe.
When you had extensive conversations with Cole about Florida, did he tell you he wanted to secure employment there?
Yes.
Did you ever interview for a position in Florida
No.
or actively look for a position in Florida?
Outside of Tampa in 2015 to 2016.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about Tampa. I had that down for our cross. I'm just going to switch over really quickly. Were you angry with Cole about his behavior when you attempted to get him to sign an agreement for you to relocate?
I was extremely disappointed. I was devastated. I would use the word devastated. Devastated. This was, as I mentioned, a launch pad for my career.
Do you think you harbored resentment toward Cole because You feel he may have interfered with your future career?
I have to surrender those feelings. I have to let it go. I have to.
And how does the 2015 request to relocate even relate to Cole's move to Florida in 2017?
Isn't it ironic that exactly 1 year later he moves to Florida? Exactly the month, everything. I was moving in January of 2016, and exactly 12 months later, he moves to Florida in January of 2017?
I suppose so. Does that make you angry that he did that?
It's shocking, that's for sure. I can't harbor feelings of anger. What good does that do for me? It is what it is. He's a grown man. He can make his decisions. He was crying broke. He had to go to pay his enormous IRS tax bill. Multiple messages. He couldn't pay his child support. He couldn't pay his bills. He was falling behind, and he had to go to make money. How could I, after you saw the messages, the way he spoke to me, how could I make that bullying man move across country? How could I do that? Me. That's ridiculous.
Did you say you got a job offer in 2015, is that correct?
I applied for the position.
Did you receive a job offer?
I applied for the position.
But you never received a job
I was notified of the position being open.
offer. In fact, weren't you notified that you were not the best candidate for that position?
No, I was notified that the position was open. I applied for it. I flew there and interviewed, and I was offered the position. I accepted the position for the Tampa role. I even brought the pamphlet. My name was on there. It was announced at the conference in front of 700 of my colleagues that I was now named the territory instructor for the Tampa Territory Office, the Central Florida office. It's right there next to John if you'd like to see it. I was named the instructor for that office. I accepted the position.
So you did. Okay, so we have a Bates stamp on Exhibit P, 608. It's correspondence you sent to Cole regarding Tampa.
Which one is it? P?
Exhibit P.
Mhm.
Date stamp 608. The correspondence at the very bottom of that page, was that sent to you concerning the position you accepted?
Yes.
And this email is cut off. I tried to turn the page here. But who is it sent from?
This is from Jason Addy. He was the regional development manager. At this time, the position I had already had to tell them that I could no longer take the position because Cole had already told me, no way, too bad. I suggest that you try to apply for your old job in Las Vegas. And so it was flippant, it was done, and they said, Heather, you can't do this. You can't go back and forth like this. You were here. January 14th, I was there at the kickoff meeting. They had announced it. I had accepted the position, and then I had to go to them and tell them that no, he won't sign the agreement with the attorney. I can't come. I don't have a signed agreement. I can't go. I can't pack up the moving van. I can't sign the lease. I need more time.
Is that why you're stating they tell you that you are not the best candidate for this position? Did you try to get the position back?
I did.
Why would you try to get the position back if you didn't think you could relocate there?
I was relocating there. I had to tell them that I could no longer take it anymore because he wouldn't let me go.
So in this correspondence, they tell you that for various reasons they do not believe you're the best candidate for that position.
Can you show me where it says that? This is bait stamp 00608. Is that what she's referring to? Okay.
Yes, it's.
Can you show me where it says that?
Well, I'm reading it from another copy here of the correspondence because it was cut off.
Well, hold on. I mean, this is what you've put in as a bait stamp, and I'm just trying to see what you're referring to. I don't see it. We'd object to it on that basis.
That's fine. I mean, I have it right here. If I could use it to impeach her, it says she's not the best candidate for the position. It's a reprint of the same document.
I can show you. I accepted.
Hold on, you have to wait for the court to rule on it. Do you have any objections to her using it?
I haven't seen it, Your Honor, so if I could see it. And if it's no problem, Your Honor, then we could provide as rebuttal showing that she actually had the job. Would that be okay then? I'm fine to let this in if we can show you the actual acceptance of the job. Would that be okay?
Well,
We have a
I mean, there's
stipulation
a
on that.
lot going on about a 2015 move, and I'm trying to figure out the relevance to the 2017 issue at hand here. And it seems to be that somebody's very angry about something that happened in the past, and they're bringing it into.
Well, you're kind of jumping ahead. I mean, he's asking a very specific question.
Right.
He'll stipulate to allow that, and if you stipulate to allow them to bring in another piece of evidence that shows that she actually was offered the job.
That's fine, because we have that, and it doesn't even sound
Okay,
like she
let's
was the
move
best candidate
forward
for the
then.
position.
So that one will be exhibit,
I don't,
what? Yeah.
Yeah, here. Let me grab it.
KK, all right.
Business plan for
Okay,
2016.
ma'am, you need to go back there.
oh, I'm
Can
sorry.
it's in
That
the-
would be for rebuttal, that would be for
That's
later.
fine. It's okay.
I have-
Is evidence.
I have the business plan as well.
Your attorney needs to present that. We'll be able to do that.
Okay.
So, moving on from that, I'm fine with putting the rebuttal evidence, then I'll take a look at that as well.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I have a problem if they want to just show her that and put it in. Thanks.
This is the full email.
Did you have a question? Counsel, she's got the document. Do you have any?
Okay. Oh, I was just going to say, do you remember receiving that?
Yes, and I can explain.
Okay, please do.
Yep, absolutely. So if you read this line right here, we both have what we feel are very legitimate concerns regarding whether or not you are the best candidate for the role, and equally as important that this opportunity is the right one for you given what has transpired over the last month or so. What has transpired is that I had to withdraw my position with the company in Central Florida because he would not allow me to go based on his communication and his emails, what has transpired over the last month. If you look at, I have the business plan in my briefcase.
Okay, that's understood. Thank you for clarifying. So
Yeah.
how does this have to do with it being in the children's best interest to modify custody? What does the 2015 job move have to do with any of this?
I will never deny that I was supportive, that I was looking at opportunities to go to Florida in all of 2017. I was the one taking the children to Cole. in 2017. I took them there 3 times in those 45 days.
Thank you. I'm glad you
Well,
admitted
I'm
to
just going to
that.
object, Your Honor. You're cutting her off. You asked her, right?
Yeah, let her finish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I took them there. Cole came to see the children a total of 5 days in 2017 before he moved back here.
So you've just
I'm
admitted
still going.
that you were supportive of them moving in 2017. In fact, you supported them so much
I
that
was
you
still
allowed
speaking.
additional travel and time with the children. Correct?
I was doing everything. I will never.
Based on that, can
I'm
you
still
s-
talking.
You've answered my question. I asked if you supported the move and confirmed that. So my next question to you is, based on that, can you see perhaps why Shelley and or Cole might believe that you have an agreement to move there with the kids if they send you their wish and intent to have you move there, and you're supporting that and not saying no?
No, there is no agreement, and Cole becomes very volatile. There's no talking to him when things don't go his way. He wants to be in control. It's his way or the highway, and there's no talking to him at all.
So there was no agreement, but just support from your end.
I'm going to object. It's been asked and answered 3 or 4 times, but
Sustain.
How many times did Cole fly you and the boys to Florida?
Well, it was broken up because he would pay for some of the boys' trips, but some of their flights, but he wouldn't pay for my flights. So he paid for April the flights, but he didn't pay for I don't believe he paid for my flights in May, and he didn't pay for my half in July.
Did you ever go and visit schools with Cole and Shelley and the boys?
No, I did not.
Did you ever go and stay with Jim while the boys were with Cole and Shelley?
Yes, I did.
Were you planning on going to see schools during the trip in which you stayed with Jim?
Nope.
Never went to go look at any schools for the kids?
I'm going to object. Your Honor. It's been asked and answered.
Sustain.
I'd like you to go to Exhibit P, date stamp 590. Are you there?
Yep.
Okay. Do you remember receiving this email from Cole?
Monday.
Participate, stamp 590. Okay.
Is that where you're at?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember receiving that email from Cole?
Yes.
Can you tell the court the date you received that?
Monday, September 4th, 2017.
And when did you file your motion to modify custody with this court?
Well, for mediation was October 2nd. I don't have the exact date for the custody. I think it was November. The mediation failed.
In this correspondence, you know Cole is going to come back to Las Vegas, correct?
In this one, yes.
And you knew that in September.
But he had been saying this all along, so he'd been saying this for a while.
You just didn't believe him that he would return?
I didn't know when. He's lied about a lot of things, so
Because if he was coming back to be with the kids, as he stated in his earlier February email to you two, that he didn't want to live apart from the children, right? And that if you didn't move there, then he would be moving back to Las Vegas. And then in September, he tells you he's coming, and the day he's coming, why would you go file a motion to modify custody?
An objection, I would call for attorney-client privilege. And also it misstates that, mischaracterizes previous testimony.
Overruled. She knows, she can testify why she filed a motion after receiving that.
I filed the motion for mediation first, not to change custody first. Mediation was because it was so horrible and vile, the communication between us. He refused to communicate with me. Mediation was because he wouldn't communicate at all. I needed to have a mediator between us. I couldn't communicate with him.
But he came to the mediation, correct?
No, it was scheduled to be by phone while he was in Florida initially.
I thought we just heard testimony that the mediation did take place.
It did, but it was initially scheduled for him to be in Florida, and he was going to do it by phone.
Were you nervous if he came back about sharing custody of the boys again with Cole? Were you nervous to share time with the boys with Cole when he would return in December?
I didn't know when he was returning.
He said so in his email.
How could I trust that, though? I didn't know when he was going to return.
Because he stated that, and he also stated he was going to go to Florida.
This
You saw
wasn't
he
the
went
first
to
time
Florida.
that he stated that.
You're right. He kept saying he would return to Las Vegas if you didn't come to Florida. What's your current your current occupation? You're a territory manager, correct?
Territory Development Manager.
Okay. And your annual salary for 2017 was $75,000.
My annual salary is $62,500. Well, it just went up $64,500, and I have bonuses on top of that.
Okay.
But my 2017 tax return is for $76,000 and a little bit and change. I have it here.
Can I have you go to, it's actually Roman numeral 9. I think maybe they got their lettering off on but it's that Roman numeral 9. It's your court filed financial disclosure form. And the big stamp, it starts with 729.
I have no idea which
Yeah,
one you're
we're-
talking about.
Yours are all letters?
Mine are all letters as well.
I don't know if she did those. Okay, this is after. I'm just gonna go. Can I walk over here to you and take a look at what she put on there?
Why don't you just have the court reporter pull her FDF? You don't have to have it be an exhibit.
It's already part of the court record.
Right.
If you just tell me the date of it, I
Sure.
can pull it.
Okay. Well, I just need to find it for the witness.
Which one is it?
I think it's
His, hers, which one?
It's hers, and it's filed November 21st. Yeah, I think my last few numbering is just different than yours. I don't know why. 729 through 740. Yes, I think so. For whatever reason, mine says IX. Yeah.
I is his.
It's 729 through 740.
Wait a minute, Rob, because the ones they have, the one they're trying to use has handwriting that's not hers, or,
Yeah.
it looks like it's
I
his.
have the one that's filed at the court. That's the
Yeah,
one
that's the
that
one we
was
want to use, is the one that we filed at the
November
court.
21st, 2017. Is that the one you want to use? It's the only one I think she has
Yeah,
filed.
that's fine.
That's right.
That's her gross income. Another week left after they.
Court's indulgence, I'm sorry, Your Honor. Assesses from them. Okay, so. Okay, may I approach and grab?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. There you go. Okay, so when we look at your financials, here you're reporting your salary at 62,500, correct?
Just going to object, Your Honor, as to where, what she's referring to, where.
Page 2 of 8 of her FDF.
For 2017.
And then under other sources of income, you're reporting that you're earning $21,371.59. Is that correct?
For child support, I put that in
Okay,
there.
for child support is down below, but you have
Okay.
for your bonuses.
Oh, bonuses, yeah.
Okay, so when I add those two together, I'm getting a different total. We're getting $83,871.59.
Okay, well, I just filed my 2017 taxes, and it is what it is.
Can you go to your pay stubs? I know your pay stubs, I'm trying to find out where they would be on because under my FDF, I'm worried about the labels. You have a pay stub that's bait stamped HS097. HS097.
Where is that?
I have to figure out where it is in her binder. I'm worried about. It's under pay stubs, and my labels, I think, at the very end are wrong. So.
What's the date on it?
The pay period ended 12/23/2017. It's not with her FDFs. They were produced bait stamp HS097 with her pay stubs.
So which exhibit am I looking at?
So if I'm looking at the table of contents, I'm just going to direct you back. It's after Z. I have I. I don't know what you have after Z. There should be a column labeled pay stubs. Do you not see that?
No.
Yeah, bait number HS097. And I'm sorry I'm sending everybody on this goose chase.
Okay,
but
I found bait stamps that are HS097.
Yes.
Okay.
So, can I go, is this the witness in finding it perhaps? And
Yes. Make it quicker.
kind of reach across.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Is this your pay stub in front of you, Heather?
Yes.
Okay. And can you see on the top row where it says pay period end?
Yes.
Can you provide the court the date?
12/23/2017.
And then going down to earnings, can you tell me what your year-to-date earnings were on 12/23/2017?
$86,121.65.
Do you think your taxes may be incorrect?
I don't. Maybe this pay stub is incorrect. I have my W-2s and I have my tax return here. So
And
If I could hazard a observation, it's quite likely that it's because of the pre-tax deductions.
right.
They're probably not included on the W-2 form. So it would make, she's got non-taxable income there. That would
Okay.
make her income be higher on her paycheck. That would appear to be lower on her tax return because there's the non-taxable portion is
Okay.
not part of that.
all right, well,
But
I
her
just
whole income for child support purposes would be this whole thing.
okay. That's what I was trying to just show you, Your Honor. I saw that in her FDF, and then I knew I saw that in her final pay stub, and it seems to be about $10,000 off of what they were reporting.
And if you
so-
look over there at the pre-tax deductions, at the total of the pre-tax deductions, it's a little over $10,000.
Okay.
So-
You would
so
know
there it
better
goes.
than I do. Anyways, I would like to draw that to the court's attention. Thank you. We talked about your attorney's fees and your salary. And did you ever tell Cole that your salary had increased over time by a 20% increase?
No.
No. Do you remember what your salary was when you entered into your decree of custody?
I don't.
Do you remember what your salary was in 2013?
I don't.
have you and Cole been separated, or not together?
Approximately 6 years.
6 years. And how long have the boys been in school?
Well, Cole is 9 and Drew is 7, so we've been in Shadow Hills since Cole has been there. Well, we put Cole in when he was 1, and Drew since he was 6 months.
And the boys have been successful in school, correct?
Very successful.
They've been successful even while you and Cole have shared joint custody of the boys.
Yes.
So even though Cole may parent different than you, half the time he must be with the boys while they're in school, right?
40% of the time?
40% of the time?
Yes.
Does Cole share the school week equally with you?
No.
You have more school days than Cole?
Yes.
How many more school days?
He gets them Wednesday evening and Thursday evening.
Wednesday evening and Thursday evening? And then you take them...
So week 1, I have them Monday and Tuesday, and then he will get them Wednesday and Thursday, and he drops them off Friday morning, and then I have them Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then he will have them Wednesday, Thursday for week 2, drops them back off Friday morning. I get them Friday, and then he will pick them up at my house Saturday evening at 7 p.m., and then he drops them off at school Monday morning.
Okay, so 2 out of the 5 school nights, they're with their father.
Yes.
And they've managed to maintain straight A's on
Yes.
that schedule. So sometimes parents may parent differently, correct? But the results, your children are flourishing in school, as you're stating, while they're in the care of their father as well during the week.
No objection on its compound, a lax foundation.
Down, please.
The kids are with their father 2 days out of the week.
No objection
Two-
has been asked and answered several times.
Sustained.
She just asked me to break it down. So, your children, you've stated concerns about their their father's ability to help them with their scholastics, correct? But yet,
Wait, she needs to answer.
Okay.
Loudly, not say red.
okay,
So answer, please.
Yes.
okay. So, since I don't know, for about six years ago, they have been in their father's care half time, and have still managed to be straight A students.
So he came back November, so he was gone most of 2017. So I wouldn't say all of 6 years. So there was that big chunk out of there. So I guess
Right.
5 years.
So basically 8 months while he was away. But
Sure.
even before then, he had been parenting them part-time, correct?
But I was responsible for their schoolwork.
Well, what about the nights that Cole had the boys? Are you saying he didn't do anything with them?
Not a lot.
How would you know you weren't there?
No objection to the argument. It's been asked and answered, but
Pardon me?
you know what? I'll withdraw it. Go ahead.
I'm just trying to get to the root of how he's so harmful to their scholastics if they have successfully performed for multiple years in their father's care.
They just completed the 1st and 3rd grade. They didn't have, This is when it's really starting to pick up their homework and their school requirements. So
Does Cole take them to their activities?
Cole it's been a struggle to get him to participate in their activities or get him to help pay for their activities. For example, when they're young, I put them in ski lessons every year up here at Lee Canyon for 3 years in a row. And this is while he was living here. And he refused to support that. He refused to pay for half of that expense. He didn't come one time to even watch them ski right here at Lee Canyon. I also had them in
But does
BMX
Cole not-
racing.
Does he not take them to their extracurricular activities on the nights he has them?
Sometimes on the nights that he has them, he has missed. And recently, once this started in the spring when he moved back, there was some back and forth with the baseball and getting them there, and it's just some pettiness with the practices, because he flat out told me that he was not required to pick Drew up until 6 p.m. and Drew had baseball practice and he wasn't going to pick him up. So there was...
What time was he supposed to pick Drew up?
What time did Drew need to be at his baseball practice?
What time was Cole mandated to pick up Drew that night?
6 p.m. It's in our agreement. But school ends at 6. He could get him any time before.
I don't really think there's anything else I need to ask her. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
I just want to ask you a few questions. You were shown a number of emails which suggested that the defendant wanted a deal as to all these different issues about moving down to Florida. When did he send those to you? Let me strike and ask this way. Were they sent to you before or after you had already moved to Florida?
After?
Did you in any way go to him and tell him that you wanted him to move to Florida?
No.
Was he moving to Florida regardless of whether you were moving to Florida or not?
Yes.
At any time, ever, did he ever tell you that, I'm not moving to Florida unless you agree to come down and live in Florida by a certain date?
No.
It seems to be some question about whether you actually had this position or not. Can we have 1 second, Your Honor, for her to get that proof that she was in fact hired? We have the business plan here and the proof that she was hired
Okay.
for that job. May I take 1 second, have her come down from the witness
Oh,
stand
yes.
and come get it? Can you come get it for me?
Yes.
You know what? Let me strike that. Let me just ask you this: you were confronted with some email that suggests that you weren't the best candidate, or possibly weren't the best candidate. Can you explain to the court what they're talking about, as opposed to well? Can you tell the court what they're talking about in that particular exhibit?
Yes, it's dated February 1st, 2016. This is
Okay, and how does that relate in any way to the job down in Florida?
This is after the fact, after I had to explain to them that I could no longer come to Florida for the position because Cole would not sign the order to allow me to move out of Nevada to take to come to Central Florida. They had to open up the position again to get someone in there right away. They could not hold the position for me. They had to fill it. It's a sales position, even though it's a W-2 position. They had to, and so.
So the email that she's showing you, or that she showed you earlier, what is that referring to? What position is that referring to?
Territory instructor role,
And where is that position?
Central Florida, Tampa.
A different position.
No, it's the one that I was going to
Did you have to reapply for the position here that you already had?
No. I mean, they had opened it up. They were interviewing candidates, but I had such a great reputation. Thankfully, they just said, Heather, you're the best candidate. We're going to give it to you. If you want to stay, then here. No one can even come close to you. I can grab that business plan that has my name in it.
You take 1 second and have that done, Your Honor. All right.
Right here, and then right this page 2.
Okay,
And
got
then
it.
Heather will be conducting
All right.
this one.
May I approach, Your Honor, with,
Me.
May I approach, Your Honor, have it marked? Yeah, it's gonna be marked, and that'll be.
Ms. Hubbs, I also need the one that you presented to her. I need that for mine.
I'll grab it.
Okay. Oh, pardon me. Thank you.
This will be exhibit 38.
And this one's exhibit 38?
This one's exhibit 38.
The other one's KK or something.
Try and copy it. See if that works.
I'd like to show you what's marked as exhibit, plaintiff's exhibit 38. Do you recognize that it's an aggregate exhibit consisting of, I believe, 5 pages? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and what is it?
So this first one right here is this is what we gave out to what's called a territory kickoff meeting for the Central Florida, Tampa office. Announcing my role for the Tampa office every January. And you see the date there, January 14th, 2016. And I was in attendance in Tampa with the entire Tampa office. So I had already been named the Central Florida regional instructor there. So I had accepted the position. I was the regional instructor for Tampa in the office. So you can see it's at 3000 Bayport Drive, 910 Tampa, Florida. And these were all of the people that were in attendance for that meeting. All of the agents, there were about 150 people there. It's a huge gathering in a banquet hall, and we have a kickoff meeting and big hoorah for the territory. And I gave a speech at this meeting. They had a welcoming me to the territory.
Okay,
there.
all right, so that shows that you had.
That I had.
That's the flyer. And then what is the other 3 pages?
This right here is 4 pages. This is the business plan for the Central Florida. This was written by Craig Miller, who is the territory sales manager, was the territory sales manager for that office. And
How did you get a copy of it?
Craig emailed this to me,
Okay.
and I have this in email form
Okay.
as well. You can see that I'm an integral part of the entire business plan. On page 2, he references me by saying bi-weekly we'll have an ADM call led by Heather, because as the instructor I would be responsible for all of the training going on within that office, development of our managers and reps. Heather will be conducting a one-day prospecting class focused on setting appointments. This will be held every other week. This is designed so at any time a new rep joins our organization, they will be able to go through this class within their first 2 weeks. If we perform our recruiting responsibilities, this class should always be full.
All right.
It goes on and on and on.
Okay. No question that you had the position, right?
No question.
And you were asked about your income at the time. This would have changed your income had you been able to take this position, is that right?
Drastically, and as I mentioned, this would have been a launch pad for my career because all of the individuals on that pamphlet
We
had,
can move on because we've
Yeah.
covered this
Yeah.
several times.
yeah,
And you supplied your 2014 and 15, your 15 and 16 tax returns, is that correct?
yes, and
Okay, with all the schedules and attachments?
yes, and 17 is there if you have it. You can admit it.
Yes.
I have no further
38
questions.
is admitted by stipulation.
I have no
Make
further
that
questions,
clear.
Your Honor.
Yes,
Right.
Your Honor, and I'm sorry, I just have one more question
Certainly.
that came up. Heather, I'm sorry, I missed something and I wanted to go over it lastly. This has again to do with some of the communication you had with Cole concerning the move to Florida. I wanted you to take a look at Exhibit P, bait stamp 606.
.606.
Did you find it?
Yes.
Do you remember sending this email to Cole?
I'm sorry, you lost me there. Which one
Oh,
are you
it's
at?
it's Exhibit P, Your Honor, bait stamp 606.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can you read the last 3 lines of this correspondence that you sent to Cole?
I will be looking at schools and options in the coming days. I really can't wait for this new chapter for everyone. I have attached the flight for Sunday. If you're able to get it, call or text me tomorrow and let me know ASAP. Thanks.
Okay, so when did you send this to Cole?
Saturday, December 31st, 2016.
Was that right before he was leaving for Florida?
Well, he left mid-January.
Mid-January? So he was still in Las Vegas when you sent this correspondence to him?
Yes.
And what did you mean when you said, I will be looking at schools and options in the coming days. I really can't wait for this new chapter for everyone.
Again, I was still open to looking at options for Florida if I could find a lateral move. Like I had mentioned before, there's 3 territory offices in the state of Florida.
Did you, when you said for everyone, did you mean you, the boys, Cole, and even Shelley at this point?
Yes.
Okay, no further questions.
I have any further questions, Your Honor?
Okay, you can step down, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, can we take a short break?
Yes.
And I'm gonna go release the witness that's been sitting here all day.